Okay, we start the meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. This meeting has been posted in the normal posting places. Motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda. I'll second.
With a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, then say aye. Can you reuse this next time?
Aye.
All in favor, then say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion's carried. We're on to the minutes from the pre-meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of Monday, July 22nd at 6 p.m., Monday, July 22nd at 6:30 p.m., and Thursday, August 1st at 6 p.m. as presented.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Are there any additions, corrections? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion's carried. We're on to the financial report and bill listing.
All right. Change orientation here so I can see this thing. All right, I'll make a motion to approve the voucher listing, general funds payroll check number 553740 through 553742 in the amount of $854.44. Direct deposit 900049598 through 900049732 in the amount of $61,712.73. Wire number 201800335 through 201900010 in the amount of $144,675.31 for total payroll of $307,242.48. Accounts payable check number 53711 through 53773 in the amount of $320,632.48. AP wire transfer 201800338 through 201800342 in the amount of $427.42.
That's,
I think
Are we
you're
on
reading
last
the
month?
wrong one.
Oh my. Good practice, Phil. That's it. All right. Thank you, Dean. No, I got, it just links to the,
No, they're tabs.
I mean, yes, there are tabs, but the tab that it opened up when I clicked the thing was the wrong one.
go, too bad.
Thank you, Ron. Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay. Scratch that half motion. Make a new motion to approve voucher listing general funds. Payroll check number 553743 through 553743 in the amount of $297.79. Check number 553744 through 553746 in the amount of $625.44. Check number 553747 through 553748 in the amount of $688.86. Direct deposits number 900049733 through 900049814 in the amount of $130,552.84. Direct deposit number 900049815 through 900049950 in the amount of $160,258.50. Direct deposit number 900049951 through 900050039 in the amount of $137,289.71. Wire transfer number 201900011 through 201900047 in the amount of $272,647.48 for total payroll of $702,360.62. Accounts payable check number 53774 through 53828 in the amount of $95,301.74. AP wire transfer 201900020 through 201900040 in the amount of $18,165.21. Credit card transactions 72219 in the amount of $88,816.06. ACH direct deposit number 192000022 through 192000047 in the amount of $176,042.83 for a total accounts payable of $378,325.84 for for total disbursements of $1,080,686.46. Thank you.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Sherry's not here to answer any questions, but.
Anybody have any questions?
What?
Does anybody have any questions?
Yes, but, Bob can answer anything? Can ask him? Okay, all in favor then say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion's carried. We have no donations this month, and personnel actions, we get a few of those.
We have a few of those. So obviously the details are in the board packet. In our audience, I think it's all pretty clear. It's here. But again, we'd like to start off by thanking Shelley Brown for her 16 years of service. Shelley has taken another position in the Elmbrook School District, as well as we'd like to thank Mrs. Shannon Sprung for her 1 year of service, who has decided to stay home with her expanding family. So we've got those two resignations, and with that, we had some movement within our teaching staff, and again, would like to just publicly say thank you to many of our teaching staff, and particularly in the area of 5K and second grade, who have gotten new members, and a few times in a lot of different puzzle pieces moving. Big thank you for them to help us secure those positions, recruit, as well as interview. Big thank you to both Becca and Lori and Stephanie, who's been doing a lot of the legwork too, as well as Sherry and her team with a lot of paperwork. So what we have in front of us is basically we have 6 new individual teaching contracts we would like to bring forward. The first one is Maria Schmidt, who has accepted a position for us in 5K, coming to us from the Palmyra Eagles School District, where the past several years she's taught 4K and been a math interventionist. Kelly Schock is going to be moving from 4K to a full-time position in 5K. Again, we approved her contract earlier in June for 4K. And to replace Kelly at 4K, we have slid Stacy Rice into that position, a long-time building sub, long-term teacher for us, and has several years of experience, real teaching experience even prior to that, all the way from 4K through 3rd grade. With that, too, we also have Jeanette Snedden, who has slid into basically Jamie Schwab's position to replace in special education. Big thank you to Jeanette for taking this challenge on. To replace Jeanette in the reading area, we have Justine Hema, and who is coming to us with several years of reading intervention experience from the Palmyra Eagles School District. I'd like to welcome her, and then you will see a new contract for Joanne Kubish. And Joanne, her contract, we've asked to increase about 15% to accommodate basically a scheduling and some student needs in the area of mathematics in 7th grade. So we've got those 6 individual teaching contracts. In addition to the teaching contracts, we have some letters of appointment. I would like to bring forward Jennifer Adams for a new IEP coming into our special education supervision role. Angela Locke, replacing one of our special educators in the instructional assistant role. Mike Vetta into our custodial team, and Shanna Shumless into the business office / primary school as our main greeter during the lunch hours and things. So lots of letters of appointments and some resignations, as well as some individual teaching contracts. So we have just 3 motions looking to approve the motion to approve the letters of resignation from Shelley Brown and Shannon Sprung as presented, and then followed by the individual contracts listed for the individual teachers, followed by the letters of appointments listed as presented.
I'll make a motion to approve the letter of resignation from Shelley Brown and Shannon Sprung as presented.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All in favor, then say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion's carried.
I'll make a motion to approve the individual teaching contracts for Maria Schmidt, Kelly Schock, Justine Hema, Jeanette Snedden, Stacy Rice, and Joanne Kubish as presented.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All in favor, then say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion's carried.
No, go right ahead. I don't want to.
I'll make a motion to approve the letters of appointment for Jennifer Adams, Angela Locke, Mike Vetta, and Shanna Shumless.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Discussion. All in favor, then say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion's carried. K, information.
All right, Jim and John, you want to share
Yeah,
a
sure.
couple things of what's been going on?
All right. So trying to keep busy this summer. Never usually a problem for me though. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Or you want me to do it?
I got it.
Okay.
Standing up is a problem.
Yes. So I've had quite a few projects this summer. I tend to think I overbooked myself a little bit, but it happens. Some of the things I've been working on, we had planned on upgrading a few more access points this year, kind of finishing off all the old ones in the district. Except I ran into a little tariff problem that gave me a 25% bump in price. So I kind of backed it off a little bit this year. So we have a few old ones left in the district, but they're all in areas that aren't as populated with students during the day. So I was able to kind of rearrange things a little bit to still make it work just as I hoped it would. Updated all my wireless management software, updated all the network infrastructure codes, which took the district down for a little bit, but it actually came up pretty quick. Updated the code and firmware on the hyper-converged platform we have, which is similar to the old terminology of a SAN, which is where you kind of house all your servers. I upgraded the server operating system on our 2 DNS servers and 2 DHCP servers. And I jumped into moving one of our servers out to the cloud. I wanted to try it out for a little bit with something that was important, but not something that was super important like Skyward. I wanted to start on a smaller scale and see how it worked. So I used our library management system as the guinea pig for it. And so far, just from testing I've done in the district, Dawn Baumgartner and I today uploaded all the kids in there and everything, and it's been working phenomenal. So it's definitely something I'm going to be looking at going forward with a lot of other stuff we have in the district. All of our teaching staff, as well as administration, got new Chromebooks this summer. They had a choice of one of those two. The one on the left is a little bit of a bigger screen. It's like a 14-inch screen. And the one on the right is like a convertible type Chromebook. Flip it around, touchscreen, everything. It has a couple cameras on it. I would say the majority of people did take the bigger one. But a lot of those people they use their phones during class, take pictures a lot too. So they had a kind of a justification because I was trying to force a lot of our teaching staff to use the convertible one to make their classrooms more flexible. But still, the people that have them have already been putting them to work, looking at how they can use them to do check-ins as they walk around class, because it's a lot more easy to have a device you can use similar to an iPad. So they've been received pretty well so far. From the student side, the trial run of 1-to-1 Chromebooks in 2nd grade is ready to go. All the Chromebooks have been put in the classrooms. And with that is the teachers working with myself and Mary on how to truly use 1-to-1 in the classroom. So very confident that that will go well. All new 4th grade Chromebooks have been put in place, replacing old ones that got moved to 2nd grade. The additional Chromebooks for the 5th section of 5K are in place. And we're all ready for all those 5th graders who just registered to purchase one or lease one through the district as well.
Jim, what are we looking at for percentage-wise this year for 5th grade?
I usually plan 75 to 80%. And right now it's right around, of the people that registered so far, it's about 70% wanted one from the district. So it's pretty close right now. Yep. Other things that have gone on, I replaced the projection in the primary cafeteria with one very similar to what's in the intermediate gym. A lot brighter, no lamp, don't have to replace it. Replace the cabling in it. And we also had an issue where somebody's HVAC system was shaking the projection unit, so when you were watching it would constantly vibrate. So we bought a mount that kind of like isolates it all, so it doesn't shake anymore.
Jordan was a lot of power in his HVAC.
We also finished replacing all the old projection units in all grade level classrooms, 4K through 2nd grade. So all we have left at this point is specials rooms and special ed. And we'll look at that in this upcoming year and how we're going to replace those as well. Informacast. Informacast is the mass communication device or software that we're going to be using as part of safety and security. We ran into a little snag midsummer with it in hooking it up to our analog PA system. There's 2 devices that we need to kind of make it work. And our PA vendor guaranteed me, yes, this will absolutely work. They've done it before. So now it's just kind of waiting to get those 2 pieces of hardware in each building, and we can kind of continue down getting that all configured and ready to go. I think we skipped one, Jay.
I'm positive I did not.
Keep going back. There you go.
Where's that?
Early on this summer, I did a lot of fine-tuning of our camera software. So what you're kind of seeing there is only 16 of the views that we have. There's actually another 16 that we have as well. It actually proved pretty useful already. Towards the end of the year, we had a situation on the basketball courts at the intermediate gym, or at the intermediate school, that proved to be quite telling based on student stories versus what actually happened. As well as an incident that we had out by the concession stand, being able to tell, at least some extent, who was around the building at the time things happened. We even had one at John's high school, or not high school, his college. Had some damage done to his car that he thought was done here while he was here. And I was able to kind of circle his car, and through the whole course of the day that he was here, I was able to tell him, yeah, no, that didn't happen here. Because it tells me all the motion that happens around the specific thing. So it was nice being able to help people out, get the truth a little bit sometimes. It was a great learning opportunity for me to really get that software to work right. The other thing we're doing is we're adding in additional key card readers at the primary. Similar to here, how we have card readers where you have to get into the office at the intermediate. Going to be doing the same at the primary as well, kind of creating a contained area, as well as adding some on exterior doors because of recess, where teachers come in and just making it easier so they're not walking them through the school past other grade levels. And that should start the week of September 9th. We were hoping to get it done before school, it just didn't work with the vendor scheduling.
Can you give some more details about that? What do you mean exactly?
So if you are, so like at this building, how if you walk in from like the cafeteria side, you have to use a key card to get in.
Into the office.
Into the office. At the primary, you're going to have to do that as well, like on it's on the staff lounge
Staff
side.
lounge and the kind of the bathroom side.
Yes, and the bathroom side, we're going to have readers there that the doors are going to be locked all the time. You need a reader to get in there.
Into the office.
In the office.
Yes.
The front wood doors will be locked unless, Becker or someone passes through to let somebody in, then, they put the toe kick down, let them in, and then close the door back up.
The real issue was there's multiple entrances into the primary school office.
Yep.
We want to make sure there's one. That's it. So all the other ones are locked, except the 2 main ones. When you walk in, we'll have one of the doors open. So in case we do have an issue, we shut one door instead of 4 doors.
And well, many of the staff or most of the staff was very good about wearing these. Now they really need it because they're not getting in there without it, especially from that side entrance. So it definitely will help a lot there.
When we're adding count.
Yep.
And then the ones for the exterior that were added were all from teacher feedback.
Yep,
To
teacher
say,
feedback.
hey, it'd be a lot more convenient for our kids to be able to do this or that if there was a card reader on an additional exterior door.
That'll be door L that leads up to the ground for 2nd grade and 5K.
Okay.
Yep. Right in that northeast corner.
Yep.
And all of our doors have the capability of it. I mean,
Yes.
Jim and John made sure that all the wires were run. It's about $2,000, $2,500 to hook up each door.
Yep.
And then ultimately, per the request of both our insurance company and law enforcement, is you always want to kind of limit those card readers instead of having a lot of them as least as possible, because then ultimately it's easier to control coming in and out too as well.
Looking ahead to this year, just a whole bunch of things I'm looking at. Discussion about a possible generator for the main networking closet. Determining the STEM lab needs, replacement of PCs in there, really based on the curriculum going forward. Obviously working with Mary, Dave Wagner, Ron, Jay, just everybody involved, making sure we get the right thing in there. A lot of these are potential things I'm just researching. Firewall replacement to support our full bandwidth. Kind of dependent on E-rate if it's still available. That's really still up in the air as whether they're going to continue with the Category 2 funding, which would be awesome, having 40% off for another 5 years. Getting kind of just updating quotes that I've had on replacing the fiber side of the buildings. Since we're limited right now to a gig connection and upgrading it to 10 gig. I've actually started this next one, working with an outside vendor to kind of study the feasibility of moving some or most of our servers to the cloud and actually seeing what that would look like from a bandwidth standpoint. I'm working with AJ Sutter about doing some wireless video in his classroom to kind of give him more flexibility as a teacher to be moving around the room instead of being stationed at the front. He approached me about getting rid of his PC, and I said, let's do it, let's try it, let's see what, and he's going to be my little guinea pig for trying certain things out this year. So I'm looking forward to that. Investigating and selecting a new content filter. It's about time. It needs to be done. And there's a few that I want to look at. Most of them are cloud-based, similar to kind of what Arrowhead does. One of them, the one that they use is one of them that I'll be looking at. And the other ones are kind of the usual continue access point replacement, again, based on E-rate, continue replacing projection units, and our copier lease, believe it or not, is up at the end of the school year. It's 3 years already. Yeah.
So finance committee, we'll run that through the finance committee.
That's it. Thank you, Jay.
Yay.
You want me to bring up your list of things?
Oh, yeah.
It might take me a second.
It's definitely
You making me do this? There you go.
Okay, so I kind of sorted mine out by what we've done, contracted out, what we've done in-house. As I'm standing here, I did just remember in the intermediate school for contracted out, door number 5 replacement down here, the way it sounds, that will happen on Thursday. So I forgot to add that one. So as far as, you know, just student commons, sidewalls, the new gear drive is installed now for our fire doors, so it won't come down like a guillotine. Jeff Bartlett was here the other day and got our fire smokes moved, so now those are up to current code. Once we changed the gears, we had to bring that up to compliance. We did the kinetics flooring up by the elevator and stairwell, and while they were here, I had them add a piece to the back stairwell on number 10, so we don't have to put a rug at the landing in the middle. Then we had some leftover carpet from 2nd grade, and the carpet up in the staff lounge 7A was really poor condition. It was rippled up, so we had that replaced and that room repainted now. So that room is a mirror image of one of the 2nd grade classrooms. So teachers seem to be excited about that. The playground project has started. It's come into some glitches. PLM was here to get the gravel going. their contracting crews are just like backed up. You know, they're going all the way back from spring in June, and you know, I've talked to them many times in the last 2 weeks about, you know, the priority of making sure this is going, and they're trying to get here as soon as they can. Jason Hyman is running into the same issues. He had a hard time just getting somebody here to get it cleaned out. So it is cleaned out. The gravel is poured for the concrete footings, for the foundation walls, for the outside edges. Jason Hyman is actually working, I believe, up in Verona at a job up there. He's got a job going up in Eau Claire, but he promises as soon as PLM gets here, he will follow and split his crew to get this project. He figured one day they'll get all the gravel down and compacted for it, and then start with the foam grass, and then we'll have to go through and do all our seeding and restoration on the side. So the chances of it happening before school start, it's not looking real promising right now. So, but know that I am working with both those contractors diligently to keep them on, and I keep Ron posted almost daily or every other day where we're at with that, so I do apologize for that. We replaced the wood gym doors going into the storage room with steel doors to try to stop all of the nicks and dents and problems we were having. So the painter was here today, got them all painted up, so that's complete. When we look at stuff that we did in-house, we did all 5th grade classrooms plus 2 extra rooms with extra ceiling tile. We cleaned 9,326 square feet of building in here. Washed all the interior, exterior windows. The new window washing unit that we bought for exterior windows basically does the reverse osmosis. Does an awesome job on not leaving water stains on the windows. So that's working well for us. That's a 1-person job. So everybody, usually Brady Russ does that for us. Yep, that's his job.
He loves that job.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does. Let's see. We replaced the balance of the LED tubes in classrooms. We found a few rooms, so we got those changed out. Wall bike racks, that was quite a project. Didn't seem like it was going to be, but 80 holes later, we had them up. So, but it works great. If you get a chance, take a look at the PE storage room someday. That is a really nice look, wouldn't you, Reject?
I do.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So we did all the prep work for common ceiling replacement. Jordan, Mitchell, Kirk, and Darwin worked ahead of the contractors to get the lights moved, get all of the smokes, or not smokes, but the emergency lighting and things moved, and then worked with the contractor as soon as he had ceiling in to work ahead of them to get everything back into place. It's amazing what you can do start to finish in 3 days. So that was pretty impressive. Jordan went through the district looking at all of the units, making sure coils are cleaned up, so we got that taken care of. Jordan also worked on, he checked all the refrigeration units in that district, primarily food service, water coolers, made sure everything was working fine on that. Primary contractors, of course, we had the new 88 door levers and locks installed. So the teachers shortly will be getting their keys for that. Those keys will allow them to get, one key will get them through the primary school except administration offices, the front office area, because they'll have their card reader, so they'll have to use it for that, and they do not have access to custodial storage areas. But their key will get them in storage closets, it'll walk them through the whole building. Let's see, what was that here? Second grade new carpet paint, got a lot of positive feedbacks. Melissa Krogman and Diane Cleary, they came in while it was going on, they were so excited. So they were very pleased with it. Painting of the main office, I don't know if you've walked in and looked at the new front office. Melissa had that horse and same up there. It looks sharp. We're working with Steve McGuire right now, because the darkness from Becca's office out into the office. So basically, we're going to take the Merton logo off and have it redone and just put the logo back up and take away the side pieces. That'll allow her to be able to see into the main office. Right now, you almost have to turn the lights off in there to look out to see because there's just so much on that glass. So we're working on that process. We put carpeting in Becca's office, we put new ceiling in Becca's office, we put a new ceiling in Dawn's office and painted her office as well. I did thank Dawn for all her patience with us over the years. She's been moved a lot of different times. So I wanted to have, now that she's got a final spot, I wanted to have it nice for her. Yeah, so
Did you know that's her last one?
Careful, no,
Well-
never promise that, John.
well, I know, but we both spot. So drop cords, those got installed last week. Chuck put those in. Jordan did all the installation of the drop cords and things like that. That's on a switch, so a teacher has the ability to turn them on or turn them off for lessons. So we don't have to worry about, did we leave something on, did we not leave something on? So we're set with that. In-house projects we did over there, we did the new front entry landscaping. We don't claim to be landscapers, but we got a lot of nice feedback from it. The new split rail fence in the back, that was probably put in about 15, 17 years ago. It was falling apart, so we pulled it out and put all new fencing back in there. The back storage unit, or the back storage closet, or workstation area at the primary school for the custodial area, we basically tore the thing apart and had to reconfigure it because of the solar project and the equipment that's going in there. So it actually worked out well. Now Jim and Dawn have their own space for storing technology because we had it stored in a classroom. So now we were able to get that out. And I'd like to someday, if you're in the building, show you what we did back there. It turned out great. So we're ready for the solar project over there. So we got that. We had quite a few rooms over there we didn't realize had fluorescent tubes yet. So as we were going through the summer cleaning, they found it and got that situated and taken care of. We put new ceilings in all the 4th grade rooms, 4th grade hallway, 3rd grade open area, 3rd grade hall, gym hallway, gym cafeteria, art hallway, 4K hallway, and 1st grade open area. We figured it took 4 custodians, 4 custodians. We probably spent a total of 4.5 weeks this summer just changing ceiling tile. So that was a big undertaking, but it went just fine.
High school kids love that.
Yeah,
They got dirty.
yeah. We got dirty, and it was amazing how dirty these ceiling tiles were in this end of the building because of the return air plenum system, because it takes the air through the HVAC, it comes over the ceiling. So any dust in the classroom falls in there. These guys, it was bad. But it's all cleaned up now and done. Jordan and Mitchell, for about 2.5 weeks straight, all day long, all they did is take down, reinstall smart boards, and put up new projectors. So they had really quite the system going on that. Again, they washed all the interior, exterior windows at the primary school. We ran, actually Jordan ran the wires with 2 high school students for the office project. Again, over there we cleaned 77,573 square feet. We installed all the new furniture for 4th grade classrooms. And again, I'd like to thank the entire B&G staff and our high school students and college students. I mean, they really gave it their all this summer. And one more note. And most of all, thank you guys for all your support, believing in us, and constantly helping us to improve and make this, I feel, is probably one of the best K-8 school districts in the feeder for Arrowhead. So thank you very much.
All right. Thanks, John. Thank you, Jim. Any questions for John or Jim? Thanks, guys. I know it's been a busy summer. Thank you.
Okay, we're on to the principal's reports.
Every year per DPI recommendation or requirement is we are to present to our local school board the seclusion and restraint report. And this was obviously created by Mr. Budish and Mr. Posick. And as presented here is basically we had no students in either building who were either secluded or restrained at any time due to behavior or any other instance throughout. So I just wanted to present that to the board as our annual update too. So again, I'd like to welcome Becca to our team and to our community. Next month, obviously, you guys will get back into the normal principal updates, tell them what they've been up to, and give everybody an update here as well. So that's all we got today.
Committee reports, we have anything?
No committees.
Okay. We are on to new business. We've got discussion of 2020, 21. Sure, the calendar.
Yeah, believe it or not, it's already thinking about next year, for sure. So it's obviously it's something that starts very, very early. Typically from a consortium standpoint with transportation and working with the feeder schools in Arrowhead particularly, there's a couple things that we put into our calendars right away, which is spring break. That's obviously collaborative, but through some conversations with staff and through multiple conversations through the workforce engagement or through other conversations, the discussion came up to take a look at not only the student calendar, but also the staff calendar and all the days that go into that too. So just wanted to put it on the agenda. Typically in the past, again, this is what we've done in the past, is typically by December, the student calendar has been approved. Again, student calendar drives staff calendar, so just wanted to get this on on our radar and start to have some conversation about with the school board about what would be the avenue or a direction on how you would like to begin to tackle that. So obviously options, you can do it in a full board forum. I would recommend that something like this would be a workshop if we wanted the entire board to come together to workshop it. And then obviously you have community members. That's an opportunity to bring in staff or anyone who would like to come. Or you could assign either a new committee or a current committee to really kind of dig in, create a proposal and a recommendation. Again, that can still involve staff, community, whatever direction you would like to go. So just wanted to kind of throw it out there so the board can begin to kind of take a peek and see what how we want to tackle the upcoming school year's calendar.
I guess we are giving a direction right now of how we think we should pursue this, or?
It's a discussion point. If, just kind of an open dialogue for the board to talk about how do we want to tackle this?
Okay.
Yeah, not that if we want to set the direction, we certainly can, but there's no action that's going to come out. We're not going to set the calendar today.
Yeah. No, I'm fine with it just being we're going to have a discussion. I just wanted to understand what we were doing right now.
Yeah. Let's will the board. So you can supply the administration a direction, or we can continue to talk and bring it up again in September.
I think based on the feedback that we've had over the last year plus from staff in particular, I think it's valuable to have their input as part of this process. So that probably means either a workshop or a committee, one of the existing committees, takes that action. And, just has meetings with staff through that mechanism. Obviously, community input is valuable, but we also, at least 3 of us are currently parents in the district, or fourth too, yeah. So, you know, from a parent perspective, we have some insight into that, better than we have teacher insight, right? So, you know, workshop versus committee is kind of up in the air, in my opinion, in terms of which way we go about it.
Right. From the community standpoint, ultimately, we are dictated by when we start our school year. So we know we're starting September 1st, and whether that's on a Thursday, Friday, or the Tuesday after Labor Day. Ultimately, that is something that we don't control. Many school districts have requested a waiver from that, and they've all been denied outside of construction. So some sort of referendum construction work to be able to move forward with that. Really, when we start talking about community input, obviously we can gather that in a lot of different ways from a survey, because if, again, depending on how the staff calendar goes, do we want to have half days? For instance, we used to have half days throughout the year, more half days. We used to have more days off to kind of do more professional development. That obviously is an impact to families if you add more days throughout the traditional school year, where all of a sudden there's no school. And that obviously possibly could push the end of school back as well.
Sure.
The other, obviously, we are bound to minutes, and not days, but we're bound to minutes. So we do have some flexibility. Obviously, what happens between September 1st and, you know, approximately 173 days or whatever is required to as well. But obviously, there's avenues to gather community input as well as staff input electronically too. So
that's a fair point. Yeah, I mean, it's probably easiest to organize just at a committee level, right? And
could be. I mean, it's easy to bring a workshop together, whether it be before a board meeting or you assign a special board meeting.
well, just in terms of getting staff input, it'll be easiest to, you know, have it be a, you know, half-day meeting or a 2-hour meeting during the school day. Well, aside from the fact that we don't have very many subs anymore, but.
From a staff standpoint, if you were to ask some staff representatives from each building, for instance, and from a committee standpoint, 3 or 4 or whatever number is decided on, you could, when you select those or when you advertise that or when you go to seek representatives, I think it's important to share, hey, these meetings are going to be at 7 o'clock or 6 o'clock or whatever it might be as well too. So as long as there's a direction, when we ask, people are upfront to say, hey, either I'm local or I'll come back for that. I feel really passionate about that. To come back for a 6:30, 7 o'clock, whenever the board would get together. I don't think it's unreasonable to ask that if, in fact, the board feels strongly about having it not during the day, because ultimately that gets limiting with some individuals who might not be able to be here during the day or at 4 o'clock or whatever.
Well, we also want to make sure that we can have our coaches there too, because they have a big impact in the professional development and the direction that all this stuff goes.
Right.
Because that, you know, from a parent perspective, I don't know that we've really gotten substantial feedback of the calendar needs to change one way or another. It's really the issue I think that, at least that I've heard the most, was the way that we do professional development, kind of all front-loaded,
Right.
is, you know, at best different than everyone else, you know, that teachers talk to at different schools, and so, you know, there's some struggle with them in
Right.
terms of how that.
And it would be real easy for us to, again, to gather that information. Hey, can you give me the staff from New Berlin or Feeder Schools or Kanawha, Pewaukee to gather that information? The only piece to that is if you move them from the beginning of the year to the middle or somewhere during the school day, or during the school year, you have more days off throughout the year. And
Sure.
that is somewhat inconvenient at times for families, but if it's well planned and people know about it, I don't hear too much about
Yeah, I mean,
that. But that's just, you know, part of having children in a system, and it would be different if you all of a
it's
sudden
spread out,
have
but the
3
school
Mondays.
year is also longer, so on the back end, you get more days where your kids are taken care of, and so it kind of all evens out.
Days are days. Correct.
And half days are kind of less convenient. Anyway,
Wrap around here, folks. There isn't for whole day though.
I would love to get feedback. The Des Moines schools, they're all early release every Wednesday. Is that
Arrowhead does. Arrowhead early release Wednesdays.
Every week.
Every week.
I thought the elementary.
Kettle Moraine does.
school-
A lot of
My
people.
school does it once a month.
There's other local feeder schools that do that once a month or every other week, and it's just built into their time as well. Obviously, obviously you need to work with your transportation provider. Given our time, it will be very difficult for us to do an early release other than right around noon. You would have to do more of a half day because at 2 o'clock, they're already booked with their level 1 and level 2, so.
And I know we have one school in our tiny little district like thing that does a late start once a month. And I know, I think Salem down by the border does that also. As another option.
Right, we do a late start once a month too. Our
Right,
principals
you
do
do it
that.
on Wednesday,
But, we
yes.
do that Wednesdays, but that's a little bit different, where
Yeah.
all of a sudden, we would have more of an opportunity for a late start regularly, because transportation, we wouldn't be worried about the other tiered bus system.
Right, but just, I look at it the other way is it productive time?
Yep.
Is-
Yeah,
From my own experience, some of it is, some of it isn't. It's making sure it's structured right.
but it's no different than, any day of PD. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. It's in the eye of the beholder.
And since it isn't a whole day, you're sometimes restricted as to what you can put in it and cover, which can be limiting.
Right.
I was just gonna make the other argument that since it's not a whole day, you don't get burnt out in professional development all day.
Right. I know what I've heard is
Half
at
days
the
off.
end of, at the end of the day, we're tired.
Yeah.
We're tired. And that's when productivity begins to, especially from a learning standpoint,
Yeah, and
from an adult
what
standpoint.
you said though about a later start, we have that opportunity.
We do. So you can counter that.
We could cover that.
Yep, certainly. Right, that could be, you've got opportunities even to come in at, again, say you come in at 7:30 or at 7:15, where you can chunk that, where all of a sudden, from a staff standpoint, again, a day is approximately 8 hours is how we identify it. And if you break that, up into an hour prior to the contracted time, there's a day you've just recouped, from about 7:30 or 7:15. So those are a lot of options that I think this committee, this team workshop in conjunction with staff, where you can start to brainstorm, what are the ideas? What are our limitations? What's best learning? If we learn best in the morning, then we've got some options.
So basically, we need to decide whether a committee or a workshop would be best. Committee would be not the full board, workshop would be full board.
Full, yep.
And I don't think it has to be either or. It could very well be both. I think maybe we should, since it sounds like we've agreed and identified that we want staff input, why don't we start there? And then, depending on where that goes, then work it into a workshop if necessary.
It all depends on the passion of the board. I know there was, because we started with
So
a
we can start
committee.
somewhere.
Right, we started with a
Yeah,
committee,
yeah.
we got thrown out for a committee on something, and then it was like, well, who wants to be on it? Well, everybody raised their hand. So I guess what's the passion of the board to say, I'm okay stepping back and bringing recommendations to me, or starting committee, then workshop it. That's kind of up to you guys and who really wants to be involved, and then ultimately we can start to tailor into the timing and stuff like that too. The staff input's gonna be there.
To put skin in the game for everybody, we could have, start off with a committee, and the committee has to come back to the board, from the board members, from the point, the staff would have to go back to their fellow teachers and get input from them and bring that back. So everybody would have some accountability, and if you make just appoint a few from each building, and they don't have to get the input from anybody else, we'll be back to the
the same place we always get to is, well, we didn't decide on that.
They told me.
Because just a few people decided on it.
It seems like the most constructive way of making progress is going to have the teachers who want to show up and the coaches and the admin, along with the board members, show up in a room and go through it and figure out, you know, this is why we do it this way, and here are some of the other options. Let's discuss some of the pros and cons and at least come up with a direction. And then at that point, if we want to, based on what the direction is, or a couple of options, then we can do a community survey or something, if we feel we really need to get some feedback from parents. Because I think if we have community come to a workshop, it's going to be 3 of the same 9 people that come to all this stuff, which is great, right? Because they're the people that are passionate about it. But it's going to be 3 individual opinions, which, you know, for something like, is early start okay? That's going to be hugely dependent upon an individual situation, right? Right. So that level of input probably isn't very valuable. At that time, right? That's what it's more valuable as, let's send out a poll and people just, you know, click a couple buttons and they can get their feedback. That's probably the better way of collecting that type of input. Right? So,
Because I think there should be a group that drives what feedback you want to, what
Yeah.
feedback is needed for the staff, what feedback is needed for the community, and things like that. Because we, again, no offense, but it's easy to gather us in a room. Us.
yeah.
So, and our specialists and our coaches and things
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that. Yeah, we want to, so Phil, I think what you're talking about is to start down to the workshop, let's all come together, let's put some things out there, and then kind of decide which direction to go from there, because then we're going to be like, what information do we want to gather from the staff? You know, what is important? When do they feel like learning is best? Do they want more days during the year, because once they've got the chance to try some things, how do I, you know, step back, reflect, give us more time?
I mean, we can call it a workshop and that's fine, but I guess I would like to say, like, not everyone from the board has to sign off. I'm kind of invested in trying to make sure that this gets resolved somehow, because it was one of the major sticking points the last couple of times we've had these strategic workshop things, right? So I'd like to try and address this and not just have the staff feel like we ignored them, right? But, you know, Kris or Dean or anyone, you know, if you feel like, you know, you would like other people to handle it and just bring a recommendation, I'm okay with that. So
I don't want to be back to the same situation where we always seem to get is our staff feels that decisions made by somebody else. Somehow we got to force everybody to collaborate on this to get to a result.
So
And I'm
maybe,
open to any creative suggestions.
so maybe it's a workshop where teachers and staff who are able to come and want to come with the full board, or as close to the full board we can get with schedules. That at that workshop though, it's discussing what viable options are and how they want to actually put out a survey to staff to get that started. And then after that, we'll have the information and we might need to do another workshop, but after we have the general consensus or general understanding of what the staff wants, we can come back just as a board, possibly, or a committee then to discuss what options are doable.
And clearly explain how we got to.
Exactly.
So it's clear.
You can
How
start
we
big
got
and then
to our
narrow.
end result.
Yeah, well, I like the idea of just starting with staff input of, let's develop the options of what's possible even.
Right.
Let's not make decisions, just
Right.
what could we possibly do?
Right.
And then have that go to the larger staff. In some survey, we'd have to figure out exactly what that looks like, but to get a more holistic view of what everyone thinks, right? Not just the people that happen to be able to come that night.
Well, what about the Wednesdays before school, when the assemblies are held? Because isn't that a whole staff time?
That's 90% of our teachers are there. Correct.
And so that's once a month, Wednesday morning?
Once a month, Wednesday mornings. Now, not to say that this could be something too where, again, if you wanted to really gather staff feedback. If you wanted to do it, you could do it before school, and it wouldn't even, it's optional. You know, if you want to come and talk about the calendar, we're going to be here at 7:45. And we're going to post a board workshop at 7:45 for anybody who wants to come, and let's talk about what your needs are. Because if you open it up to everybody, Phil, you're going to get to kind of your example with the parent, whereas this is what's best for me. Which is great, because that's very different than, hey, primary school, intermediate school, can you please select 4 people to represent you? Because then it gets kind of narrowed down a little bit, and those 4 individuals are now responsible to then gather feedback about, hey, what's important? What do we want? What do you want me to share with the board, the board, and the admin team, what's important to you? And gather that information. So instead of having 20 voices for teachers, I don't know, it depends. Again, you guys have been talking to some individual, because we get, you know, hey, this would be great for me, this would be great for me. You get 20 voices compared to 4 that get funneled into.
I think that I like that plan, that implementation of what we have been talking about, and just do something before school, you know, start at 7:45 or whatever, and you know,
And seriously, if we could have 2 board meetings, or at least 2 board members there.
yeah,
kind of
just like do brainstorming of, we're just going to write down your ideas and suggestions and what you guys think, and
Just get it started.
just to let's, you know, write down what are they thinking, then we can digest that information and try and figure out, all right, with all of this input, you know, is everyone really complaining about doing 2 weeks before school, or is that really not a thing, and that was just someone brought it up in a meeting and it kind of blew out of proportion, or like, you know?
Well, I guess, Phil, then the question comes in is, what's the best way to gather? I mean, is someone going to voice that, or do we, and that's, we can find out, you know, what are the common themes, and then you can go back and survey, because some people feel comfortable saying,
We
well,
can do both. It's easy enough to kick out.
it is, it's very easy to get general themes, and then you can kind of say, hey, on a scale of 1 to 5, how important is this for you? So,
Well, and even like if we have that morning meeting, you know, after collecting some input, we can bring that up, like, as a, you know, propose that as a question, as opposed to just a blanket input of, what do you think, you know? All right, how do we feel about the, you know, the 2 weeks before school? You know, what are the pros and cons, and what would you like to have different? Or what do you like about it?
And also intentionally acknowledging that this action is a response to, we heard you. And we're all moving forward together, and this is how we're doing it.
And we can draw on other people's experiences from outside of the district. I like fresh eyes and seeing if other things work well. Keep it on Mondays and Tuesdays, it would work best for me.
okay. So what I'm hearing is for us to set a 7:45 meeting to be about a half hour, 45 minutes, basically gives about 45 minutes from about 7:45. Again, it would be posted as a board workshop. Everybody would be welcome. And ultimately, we would post it as, the conversation piece would be staff contracted days and staff calendar, basically. And everybody would be invited. Say whoever wants to come. It's just going to be a brainstorm. We're just going to listen about what opportunities we have and what might be some ideas out there for us to consider as we consider putting this forward together. From there, we'll gather the themes, and ultimately we can bring that back to the board, and then we can have another discussion like this on September 23rd. I think we can pull this off prior to September 23rd if that's, because that keeps the train moving. And then if we need to workshop it, committee it, then we can just gather some initial information. Okay. Is there anything off the top of any information that you want me to gather? Do you want me to gather other staff calendars from other school districts?
Yes.
Yes? Okay. Any other information you want me to gather? That was easy. I knew that was going to be yes.
I think when that does go out to staff, we should have some highlighted bullet points of what our objectives are. So
Okay.
people are coming with a little more
Yes.
concrete.
Here's our questions. Yep, we can.
What works, what doesn't, what would you like to see?
I guess the other thing that, in terms of information to collect, would be some idea of if we were ultimately going to change our calendar relative to what all the other schools do, what does that mean for transportation for us as a district? And you probably have a fairly good idea of that,
Yeah.
just off the top of your head. without-
So transportation impact?
Okay, that would be kind of the other piece of the puzzle here that we're kind of dependent on.
Sure. What are the possibilities?
You know, if our calendar goes an extra couple of days because we, sprinkle PD through the year, or if we do half days, or,
How much does it cost us?
How much
if we're
does that
running by
cost
ourselves?
us?
Yep. Sure, the financial impact, sure. If anything else pops up, you're like, hey, Ron, can you collect that from other school districts? So what I'll do is I'll put a little doodle poll together. I know Kris isn't here, and Dean's commented on, Mondays and Tuesdays and things. So we'll just throw some dates out there and see what we can do, and then ultimately I'll correspond that with either a Wednesday or whatever it might be, or Monday, Tuesday, whatever day works well. We'll communicate in advance to our staff and see what we can get. Tuesdays work better.
I concur.
Okay, we'll focus on Tuesday morning. Tuesday morning.
Yeah, that'd be great. I need the information.
Monday morning.
Yeah, it's Tuesday's birthday. Much better, okay.
Stuff.
Well, there's not many Tuesdays before the
No.
next meeting, so we'll
There's
get
more
that out.
Tuesdays than Mondays, so it doesn't
Okay, I'll put something up to the board then tomorrow as it relates to when we're available. Perfect. Okay, we got direction. We'll start there.
Okay, so we are on to future meetings.
We've got our budget hearing annual meeting coming up here on September 10th. The 23rd is our upcoming September meeting. And then sometime after September 23rd, again, thank you very much. I know for those of you who've checked your emails today, there was that doodle poll to get the strategic planning team together. So I've been getting a lot of responses from individuals. So when you get a chance, take a look at that. And away we go. That'll happen sometime between in late September, early October. And then October 28th, again, the reason why we're pretty late in October is we do get some information from the state regarding our budget, all of the third Friday accounts. We get our aid formulas, and then ultimately property values come out then too as well. So Sherry puts everything together, and then October we set our levies. So yeah, so it'll be busy fall. Busy fall.
Any agenda items? Okay.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Do we have a motion and a second? All in favor, then say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Meeting adjourned.
Yes.